philosopher John Locke says, government has no other end but the preservation of property, meaning the primary intention of the government is the acquisition of land and the owning of property, and therefore we control no land or property whatsoever. And the property that we think we live in is not necessarily in our control because we are already paying taxes for the property that we buy from the government and on which we live, but that is also not our own because the government already owns it. And we have to pay taxes for it, and therefore the government is primarily concerned with the acquisition of land and the owning of all property as far as it possibly can, and therefore the governments of the world are also doing the same thing. They are preserving or acquiring or dominating property and land by any means necessary. Governments are willing to go to great lengths to dominate, occupy, and conquer territory and the property that actually belongs to wildlife even, and the property that men live on is already in government's control because we are paying taxes, and therefore no land can be said to be free because the government, which is a concentration of power, acquires and therefore controls everything. And therefore we have no property in our control or acquisition whatsoever, even if we think or believe that we own some land or property. We don't own anything in reality because everything which is happening or taking place around us is actually the scheme of the government. The government is making everything around us happening. So nothing happens automatically, but rather everything is done by the government. Everything is a consequence of the actions, the decisions, and the choices of the governments around the world, and therefore the governments have no other purpose, aim, or intention but only the acquisition, control, domination, or conquest of property of all kinds and sorts, and we don't own any land whatsoever.